Hey, welcome back to another mini progress update on this machine out of Florida that belongs to Cindy Blong. I've shown you different updates on it already, and just if you missed those somehow, I'll kind of take you back to them. Again, this machine is a 1928, and it arrived in real rough state with a lot of rust because of the way the machine had been stored. It's specifically a model 66-6. And I've begun dealing with the rust mitigation. You can see on the different chromed pieces here, and it's a very specific process that I use so that the metal is preserved, and it also inhibits the return of varnishing and rust to the surface again. And that includes all the way up the presser foot spring. That entire space has to be mitigated. Rust migrates. If you don't get rid of it in one spot, it's kind of like cancer. It'll return again to rear its ugly head. And then other areas as well. I've already covered this with many of you that saw these. This was also rust-ridden, pitted with rust, varnished and everything, stitch length controller, bobbin winding assembly, along with the balance wheel. You can do a little bit more work on the balance wheel and the stop action clutch release as well. But my focus right now, as you may or may not be able to see in the shot by my hands, is beginning to deal with the issues relating to the motor. And the unfortunate discovery that I'm having is that this motor has had some major overheating issues. These are the stacked lamentations right here, which are critical to the electrical field in the motor, and you can see they're scarred and they're scorched, along with the commutator as well. It just has a lot of, it's more than just carbon buildup. It's actually showing signs that the motor is superheated, and superheating of a motor is never ever a good sign. So I'm going to see what I can do to save the motor and to return it back to a state where it's operational and reliable. Both sections of this motor component are equally important. Here you've got these stators, and the stators are also showing some signs that they did overheat quite a bit. Here we have one of the wires going into the frontmost stator portion, and it's showing some scorching on it as well. So the entire motor went through some major trauma. So I'm going to do my best to save the motor. Otherwise, I'll talk with Cindy about an appropriate motor replacement. But lots of things happening on the workbench right now with this, along with I'm going to have to move this machine to the side for a little bit so I can begin the process of mailing out bricks to all of my Heroes for History that supported the fundraiser a month or so ago down in South Bend, Indiana for the History Museum. So I sometimes have to pause a project, move in a different direction, and then I'll circle back to it. I've done that a couple of times with this 66-6, and it's just the nature and the tempo of the workshop. So, but I feel good about a lot of the progress that's being made. Here you can see additional chrome pieces that I've done quite a bit of work on, the faceplate, the feed dog cover, and all of the different components that comprise the upper tension control. If you somehow missed that, go back to some of those Facebook shots and you can see the condition of where the entire machine, let alone this upper tension, was at when I started this process. So with that, back to a little bit of classical music. Enjoying some classical feeling today on this Monday. Hope you're doing well where you're at. And back to work. Right, Dr. Singer? Yeah, he's such a little taskmaster. Cute little smile, little grin on his face. But man, oh man, he gets out the whip and it gets ugly in here sometimes. Gets ugly! Look at Omi. Even Omi's going, oh my gosh. Don't talk about our family business. All right. Well, at any rate, another little mini update on Cindy's 66-6 from 1928. Focusing on motor now. And just dealing with the rest of the chrome rust mitigation that this machine needs. Stuff to deal with the light and everything on the back, and the rear decorative or ornamental plate, and the foot controller, and the knee controller, and yeah, you get the idea. All right, y'all take care, and happy Monday. By the way, remember, today is National Recognition of our Vietnam War veterans. And if you know of any, reach out to them and thank them for their service and for their sacrifice, would you? Thanks. God bless.